filthy animal.
Man, so glad you joined us this morning. We have a really special service for you today. But man, what a year. I know, yeah, right. But what a weird year. I've spent a little time this week actually looking back at some of our old Facebook videos and some of the different updates and stuff. I never really did those before, and so it's really interesting to have such like tangible nostalgia, as if this year is nostalgic at all. It's crazy though, it's crazy. It's crazy to see the progression early on. It's like, you know, okay, don't worry, we're fine, we're having service, it's not a big deal for our size, and then boom, no service, and online, but don't worry, we'll see you in a week. And then slowly it just getting more and more like normal and more strange, and me just getting grayer and grayer and gaining about 10 pounds. What happened? This year, man, this year happened, 2020, right? But it's Christmas. Nevertheless, it is Christmas. And we need to be reminded. We need to pause, reflect, and remember what this season is really all about.
I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
Baby. I love this time of year. I hope you do too. Not just because of all the Christmas stuff, which is great. But what this holiday is all about, this holiday, this day, this moment is so special. It's so special to me. And many of the things that we love about this holiday are not happening this year. None of the visits, the celebrating with families, not gathering together to sing and embrace one another. But this holiday is and has always been about something more than that. And I really want us to take a second and stop and reflect. It is crazy right now. It's crazy right now. In our country, in this city, in our culture, nuts stuff going on. What makes people so unkind and so hurtful to one another, right? What makes us like that? It even feels like sometimes the more petty and unnecessary it is, the more outrageous we are. Where is this coming from? Why is it so much easier for us to be wrapped up in our problems and negativity and blaming than around joy? I mean, like scientists say, like, right? Like our minds actually grab onto negative things at like 3 times the mind energy is positive. That's what science says. No, right? They say you need to hear 7 positive things to fix 1 negative thing. Or I don't know, in your experience, if you just get 1 negative comment on something you did compared to everything else, everybody else being great, you only remember. Why is it so easy for us to be wrapped up in our negativity and our blaming than around our joy? And I know joy in 2020, it's like, come on, man. I don't know what to say, but, you know. It's
Christmas, and we're all in misery.
But the reality is, at times, we can really be our own worst enemy. And it's not just that we take this pain and this fear that we're experiencing and put them on others, but that we also choose to abide in them ourselves. Maybe we just need to be reminded how deep and how hidden the problem is, and that there is another way. Part of the problem, essentially, is that negativity works. Like, it unites in like a quick and seemingly good and like effective way. Have you ever noticed how people seem to be defined more by who they're against than who they're for these days? It's so strange how it, like, we can cling on to that. I used to work in a medical billing office my first year of marriage, when Cynthia and I lived in Seattle. And there were 12 people in my customer service department, and I had no friends. I don't know. People didn't like me, or couldn't connect with anybody. I would eat by myself, my lunch at my desk in my cubicle, and I just couldn't connect with anybody. And then one day, I was ticked off at the supervisor in my department. She would always go on she'd go on smoke breaks, like 12 times a day. And then she would say, like, hey, Ryan, you need to take the phone. I'm going on a smoke break. And I got 2 breaks. I remember I was so angry, and I was complaining about it. And then one time it was like hedgehogs popped right over the cubicle. They were like, oh, you hate Cindy too? Yeah. And then boom, I had friends connected over hating Cindy. It's terrible. Terrible, right? But it feels good. It feels good these days to be angry, to be mad at somebody, right? Frederick Buechner says this: of the 7 deadly sins, anger is possibly the most fun. To lick your wounds, to smack your lips over grievances long past, to roll your tongue, the prospect of bitter confrontations still to come, to savor to the last toothsome morsel both the pain you were given and the pain you are giving back in many ways is a feast fit for a king. The chief drawback is that what you are wolfing down is yourself. It feels good to be angry. It feels so good to be angry, especially because we always feel righteous in it, right? We always feel righteous. Look at what's happening in the world, the corruption, the inequality, the pain. We should be angry, right? But listen, this drive is not peaceful. It's not happy. It's filled with itself. It's filled with agenda, and it sees all of its problems as out there. It's never in here. It's never my problem. It's out there. This is every single political agenda, right? The soul, however, does not grow by fear and contraction. It grows by expansion. It doesn't move forward by exclusion, but by inclusion. It sees things deeply and broadly. It sees connection with others, not by saying no, but by saying yes, at least on some level, to whatever comes its way. Mary, Jesus' mother, says a kind of yes. Listen to her words. I am the Lord's servant, Mary answered in Luke 1. May your word to me be fulfilled. She says yes to being the one to bring the Christ into the world, and it doesn't come easy. And if we're going to bring Jesus with us, it requires the same type of yes. It requires that we let down some of our ego, and none of us like to do that, right? Mary's yes was this wonderful ability to trust that someone else is in charge and that the foundations are good and going somewhere. Listen, this year has taken a lot from us. It's taken a lot. But one thing it has given us a reminder that we're not in control. And that's a good thing, because Christmas reminds us that the foundations are good and going somewhere. Jesus' birth was to reveal and to resolve the central and essential problem, and that is humanity's tendency towards fear and hate. We just tend to go towards that negative space, right? This pattern is so deep, it's so habitual. We even made religion itself into like a clever cover for our need to remain fearful and hateful. It's like the ultimate disguise where you can remain a mean-spirited person is to do it for God or country, right? And it's just full of and from fear. But Christmas comes to combat this fear, and God's weapons, Jesus' weapons, are never like ours. How do you confront fear and hate? Love. Love every time. We talked about it last week. Love is the totally enlightened, entirely nonsensical way out of this pattern of fear. It is the superpower that we all possess, that if we could lean into love, let Jesus' love fill us and transform us, it's like...
And then the true meaning of Christmas came through, and the Grinch found the strength of 10 Grinches, plus 2.
It do be like that, though, all right? We cannot confront and combat fear and hate with just more fear and more hate. It's acts of meekness and weakness where true strength is achieved. Like I said, it's nonsensical. But I've seen it. I've seen it through this pandemic. Cynthia and I, we've grown closer and closer. And it's not because we haven't fought. It's probably the opposite. But we're fighting different these days. Instead of like confrontation and defensiveness and then back and then forth. I mean, we do that for a little bit, but it's better. She's not like, we're not weapons involved. She threw a knife at me once, all right? We're not doing that anymore. So see, this is a good thing. But we've been able to like reflect on, in that time, at some point in the fight, what is making us angry. And it is this hard and vulnerable step, but when we share it, we can share what we're afraid of, what's actually going on in our hearts, why we're actually so defensive and angry and hurt. I'll tell you what, once there's that moment of vulnerability from either one of us, only needs to be one, it totally diffuses the moment. It transforms the hate and the anger. You don't beat down anger by winning a fight. It's actually the opposite, right? Again, it's nonsensical. But in this moment, in this year, we need more love. right? We need more joy. We need more hope, not more anger. So with that, here's our adorable children.
On the first day of Christmas, this year gave to me the Oregon community.
On the second day of Christmas, this year gave to me second Sunday Zoom
At the Oregon community. On the third day of Christmas, this year gave to me hand sanitizer, second Sunday Zoom at the Oregon community. On the fourth day of Christmas, this year gave to me can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer, second Sunday Zoom and the Oregon community. On the fifth day of Christmas, this year gave to me more online school. Can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer,
second Sunday Zoom and the Oregon community. On the sixth day of Christmas, this year gave to me 6 feet apart, more online school.
can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer, second Sunday Zoom.
And the Oregon community.
On the seventh day of Christmas, this year gave to me 7 days of PJs.
6 feet apart.
More online school. Can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer,
Second Sunday Zoom.
in the Oregon community. On the 8th day of Christmas, this you gave to me. Cancel vacation, 7 days of PJs,
6 feet apart.
more online school. Can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer,
Second Sunday Zoom.
in the Oregon community. On the 9th day of Christmas, this year gave to me 9 months of quarantine. Cancel the case, 7 days of PJs,
6 feet apart.
online school. Can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer, second Sunday Zoom, in the Oregon community. On the 10th day of Christmas, this year gave to me 10 hours of screen time, 9 months of quarantine. Cancel vacation, 7 days of PJs,
6 feet apart.
more online school. Can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer,
Second Sunday Zoom.
and the Oregon community. On the 11th day of Christmas, this year gave to me empty service, 10 hours of screen time, 9 months of quarantine. Cancel vacation, 7 days of PJs,
6 feet apart.
more online school. Can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer,
Second Sunday Zoom.
and the Oregon community. On the 12th day of Christmas, this year gave to me wear your mask, empty service, 10 hours of screen time, 9 months of quarantine. Cancel the case, 7 days of PJs,
6 feet apart.
more online school. Can't hug my friends, hand sanitizer, second Sunday Zoom, at the Oregon community. At the Oregon community.
Oh man, Thank you, Kyle and Christine and everybody. I love it. And, you know, I think it's easier sometimes for us to be angry or for us to be sad. Love, hope, joy, they take work. And maybe that's why we do this. We need to take times like this to reflect, to sing and to sway, to connect together around this story, this birth, this day, to see each other, not for our differences, but for our similarities, and that we would choose love today, that we would choose joy today, that we would say yes, but we would say yes to both. Let this Christmas remind us all of what Frederick Buechner also said. There is nothing to fear. That is the gladdest and most final of all secrets, which the whole human family since the world began has glimpsed, always in its holiest dreams. Let this Christmas be filled with joy. Not circumstantial, but foundational joy. Let us remember that there is nothing to fear, for God is with us. May you be blessed. May you know you are loved, and may you have a merry, merry Christmas. Here is a little gift for us.
Merry Christmas.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to face shine